Hello everyone. This afternoon I want to talk about a few things that have happened in recent pop culture history, as well as some things that have happened recently in my personal life. And these things that have happened have prompted me to take a proactive change in my vocabulary. Before I continue on with that, I do want to fully acknowledge that yes, I know that I'm wearing the male version of the muumuu. It's fucking hot out, fucking deal with it, okay? You know, I shave my armpits, so, you know, I'm trying not to be too offensive. Anyhow, these recent events I'm talking about are people like Cliven Bundy and Donald Sterling. There's a couple of others that have made some racist comments, remarks, whatever, in the news. And, you know, we all know what they said and everything. And the thing is, you know, these guys come from an older generation where things that they say things that they feel are not offensive that are acceptable because they used to be from the generation that they were from. But you know, times have changed. You know, you can't say to people you shouldn't be seen with black people. And then with Cliven Bundy, you know, I don't know, an old white rancher, when he says, "Let me tell you something I know about the Negro," I just have to ask, you know, really, how much do you know about the Negro plight? Anyways, so, you know, these are things that people, you know, a public figure like Donald Sterling obviously shouldn't say, you know. Of course, this is America. You can think what you want, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. You know, that doesn't mean you should just go around saying anything you want because, you know, you're probably going to get some flack. You know, I mean, for instance, I shouldn't say cocksucker motherfucker to a sandwich. Just because I feel that way doesn't mean I should say it. Anyhow, and then in my personal life, over the last couple weeks, I've dealt with some people saying some kind of weird things at work. When the NBA handed down their punishment to Sterling, you know, the fine and the ban and all that, there was a couple ladies at my work that were like, "Gee, just for that?" You know, and I don't think they understand that, you know, there's just some shit you just can't fucking say anymore, you know? You know, and then a couple weeks later, there was a strange car parked in the parking lot at work. The day before, there had been some people working on an apartment building next door to where I work. And these people happened to be Mexican. Okay, and so anyways, there was a strange car parked in our parking lot. We were like, what the fuck? You know, and I said, well, you know, maybe it's one of those guys that have been working on that apartment building next door. And another lady comes up and says, "Oh, are the Mexicans back?" You know, what do you mean, the Mexicans? What the fuck does that mean? Anyhow, and then today, in the news, this just came out a couple hours ago. I'm reading from the San Jose Mercury News that it says here, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office revoked the NFL's Washington team's exclusive rights to the R word. And the R word they're talking about is the Redskins, the Washington Redskins, the football team. I walked in from having yet another cigarette break to hear someone reading that out loud and going, "Oh my God, you know, what's wrong with these people?" And the other lady is saying, "You know, gosh, if you find that word offensive, well, there's just something wrong with you." Well, I have to disagree that, you know, it's not okay anymore to use racial slurs that have been used to separate people into a lower class as a name in public. You know, Redskins may have been a term that was once acceptable, but it's just not anymore. You know, because it's a racial slur, and it's used to separate people into a different class, and a different class that's supposedly not as good as some other class or whatever. I don't know. And, you know, in dealing with these comments from people at work, you know, I mean, I'm not all like, oh, you know, I find that offensive. You know, I just kind of roll my eyes, whatever. You know, and I think with the people at my work, it's, you know, probably a product of just people living in a small town for a long time. You know, I'm from, you know, a larger area where there's all kinds of fucking people everywhere. All colors, races, creeds, sexual orientation, whatever. You know, you get used to it. You may not like some people or something, but, you know, it's still not appropriate to use racial slurs, blah, blah, blah. And in light of all of this, again, going back to Sterling and Bundy, you know, that when I hear people like that say these kind of things, you know, I just think to myself, my God, what is wrong with old white men? You know, and you know, and what's wrong with people named Bundy? You know, Clive and Bundy saying some stupid shit. Ted Bundy killing a bunch of motherfuckers. And then, of course, we have Al Bundy. Now, I can give him a little slack because I can kind of relate to his character a little bit. And he even did say once in an episode of Married with Children, he had an opportunity to bang down with a really hot woman, and he said, I can't, I'm married with children. So, you know, at least he's got some scruples. Anyways, in light of all this, I have come to a decision. White trash food, yummy, yummy. I said, what? There's a fucking racial slur right there. I've come to a decision that at this point in my life, and at this point in American culture, and this is going to upset some of you, it is no longer appropriate for me to use the word faggot. It's no longer appropriate for me to use phrases like, that's gay. You're such a queer. Don't be such a lesbo, dude. Her, her, her. Let me make something perfectly clear. I have always been accepting of gay people. I've always had gay friends for many, many, many years. I still have several gay friends. I've never, you know, said anything hateful to anyone because of their sexuality or anything like that. You know, I've never used the word faggot in a hateful way to hurt somebody. I mean, except maybe when I was a stupid, you know, 14-year-old idiot. You know, we're all idiots when we're that age. But, you know, I've never said it to demean anyone or anything like that. Now, up until this point, when I've said things like, you know, faggot or that's gay or whatever, you know, I never meant it to, again, demean anyone because of their sexual orientation. It's always in good fun with friends and blah, blah, blah. You know, again, I've never had a problem with gay people. I voted against Prop Hate in California several years back. You know, I'm pro-equal marriage and all that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, Chad Jason. If you're out there, Chad, hello. And I was having this conversation with him that, you know, I still use the word faggot, and I'm not sure if it's okay for me to do that anymore. And he said, well, yeah, but Jim, you know, you're an honorary member of the gay community. You know, you have gay friends, you know, you're cool with gay people, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, maybe so, you know, Chad is gay, by the way. I don't know if I clarified that already. So he was giving me a free pass, saying, you know, Jim, it's okay because you're not an asshole about gay people, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, okay, maybe that's okay or whatever, but I really do think that it's, you know, come to a point where it's not appropriate for me to say those things anymore because, you know, whereas there are people now that I figure, you know, what's wrong, you know, oh, you know, when somebody like Donald Sterling says, you know, don't be seen with black people, and I say, you know, what the hell is wrong with old white men? I'm in danger of one day becoming an old straight man, okay? You know, and you know, sometime down the road, I might use the word faggot and not mean anything mean by it, but somebody could take it that way, and I don't want to be that guy. So I'm not going to use that word anymore. I'm not going to, you know, if someone puts shitty music on the radio, I'm not going to be, oh, that's gay, blah, blah, you know. I just, you know, I could say that's lame, that sucks, you suck, you're a fucking dick sucker. I can still say dick sucker because it doesn't matter what gender you are. And so, okay, so I'm not going to use those words anymore. And I'm also going to issue a challenge to my friends to follow suit and also not use words or phrases like that anymore. All of my friends are, you know, very gay friendly. You know, I have a fairly diverse group of friends, and all of my friends have diverse groups of friends, okay? Including gay and lesbian people, transgendered, any, you know, whatever. We're all, me and all of my friends, we're pretty accepting of just about anybody, no matter what. So, to all my friends out there, I'm asking that, again, follow suit with what I'm doing. Let's eliminate that from our vocabulary because it's just no longer cool. In fact, here's another part of that article about the Washington Redskins. It says, whoops, wrong one. Okay, this is what the author of the article writes. Everyone knows this is, let me start that again. Everyone knows this whole Native Americans as mascot bit is antiquated. Its use has expired. Even if it is as harmless as supporters claim, it's too connected to a time this country is trying to get past. And that pretty much hits the nail right on the head with whether you're talking about, you know, the Negro plight or whatever, you know, and using words that have traditionally been used to demean people because of their sexual orientation. You know, these are things from a bygone era, and, you know, it's really time to just let that shit go and move on. So I'm not going to say those things anymore. I'll still joke around with my friends as I always do, you know, about, you know, ho ho, you better not butt fuck me, blah blah, you know, whatever. But you know, I'm not saying, you know, faggot, queer, blah blah blah, this, that, the other. You know, I don't want to be, you know, 10, 20 years from now, that guy that someone says, what is wrong with old straight men from that previous generation? So I hope you can appreciate where I'm coming from, and I hope you can respect what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say here. So thanks for watching and listening to me ramble on and 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 on.